Well, good afternoon, my friends. And it's all coming out. Welcome to another live edition of Jacob's Ladder. I am your host, Jacob Israel. And can you believe I started at 222? That's right. We got a lot to talk about. Volcanoes, asteroids, crazy things happening with the government. I'm excited. And why shouldn't I be? Oh my goodness. If you take a look right there, you'll see dark MAGA and MAGA coming together. They are rooting out all corruption. They're rooting out all wasteful spending. They are ruling out everything that is against what was that made America great again. It seems like what they're doing right now is a little, it's frightening a bunch of people. Seems like the media is coming against Doge and company for good reason, perhaps. But maybe all of this is working together. Maybe all of this is happening for a reason. And maybe you joined me on the new set. What do you think? Little cleaner background, not so crazy. And if you'll notice the ladder now, you don't even got to climb it anymore. Just step up to it. Just step up to it and you're going to be going for a ride, I promise you. A ride that we are on, my friends, and a ride that is getting stressful. Take a look right there at Kilauea. I guess that's the way you pronounce it in Hawaiian. The volcano that erupted. It's a big deal. It's not like, volcanoes were not like all the calms, as they say, things all over the place. No matter where you go. You see the Super Bowl commercial? The Reese's Pieces ad. Oh my goodness gracious. Taste the lava. You can't taste the lava of the real volcano. It's almost like they want to put it into your mind so that you, think that maybe there's going to be some kind of a terrible volcano that erupts, which wouldn't be that great, especially if you got the big ones, because of course the amount of ash and carbon dioxide and all the other stuff, it could blot out the sun. which could lead to basically darkness, and wouldn't be so great for the environment, especially if you have more than one volcano popping off, which it seems that seems like there's more than just that volcano. In fact, not just I don't even know how to pronounce this. Kilauea, the volcano, the amount of feet that it launched up into the sky is what is really telling to me, because 33 is a big number. On the third day, that's when Christ rises again. His ministry is about 3 years. He starts his ministry at 30, at 33, 33 and a half is, when he's put to death. And then it's in the 33rd year. So when you see that number, it's a very, we'll say, spiritual number. And in occult circles, it's a big deal as well. I don't find it interesting at all that it also erupted at 1016. If you invert it, it looks like it's a 9/11. But look, the volcanoes is something I've been talking about. It's not this is nothing new. Okay, take a look at that. Back on November 10th, 2024, I put out this little post where I had said, in keeping with my feeling that a huge volcano may erupt soon, yesterday WikiLeaks put out this picture of a volcano erupting. And the reason why I was talking about the volcano and everything else was because Pompeo came in the news. And when you hear the name Pompeo, and you think of Pompeii. And Doge is one of Doge's, wizards that, I don't know, I don't think is affiliated to bunch of really terrible organizations. They're making these people out to be like Satanists and other crazy things. But the one person that I looked into, he won the Vesuvius Award because there were these scrolls. You probably remember on X, I shared about this and I posted the video of this. I guess he was like 19, Nebraska University, and he finds these scrolls and no one knows how to interpret them. And so there was an award that went out. What does it say? And he and his algorithms, his AI, which is what they're using, by the way, Everybody's like, how are they figuring all this stuff out? They're loading all the data into a program. It's like when I make my song. You probably, if you were waiting, if you clicked on it, you saw that I wrote a song just a couple of weeks ago. You know, when things get hard sometimes, instead of turning it into something that bums me out, I'm like, let me write about how I am not forsaken, even though I feel that way at the moment. I put the song that I wrote in, the poem that I wrote in, give it a little direction, poof, and then it's like this amazing thing. I do some editing, and then there you have something to watch while you're waiting for the show to begin. But AI is what they're using. They're throwing everything through the system, and the system saying, look at all this. It's done probably instantaneously. Now, they're having a little bit of a problem. We're going to get into, by the way, all the end times, relevance, and everything else. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're here already in the live chat, will you do me a favor? Will you smash the like? Very important to do that because it tells YouTube that you enjoy what I'm doing, you enjoy what I share. More people should check it out. And I'm glad if you do. And if you do, will you subscribe? Make sure you check the bell for notifications. Now that I got all that out of the way. Well, I had a vibe that we were going to be seeing some of these volcanoes pretty much all over the place. And so I put that little post up. And what do you know? Molten rock exploding began at 10:16 a.m. It's 9/11 inverted on the floor of Oumuamua, the crater. And I said, because people are freaking out. They're all they're jumping on this. This is like a big deal. And then the fact that now we have this other one in Alaska was just hit by a swarm of earthquakes. And scientists are warning that it has a 50-50 chance of erupting. That's no good. Those aren't great odds. It's like 50-50 it's like flipping a quarter. You don't want to do that as long as quarters still exist. By the way, there are not going to be no pennies anymore. And I'm just going to give you a little taste of the Super Bowl decode show that I'm working on, which is, I'm so proud of it. And I can't wait to release it probably tomorrow. But the day that the penny is gone, if you remember in Scripture, you don't enter in, you don't leave your wilderness journey or your correction until that last penny is paid. Last penny is going to be paid. You see what I mean? Everything that I'm sharing here, even though it's stressful, even though it's going to freak you out, if you're dealing with the flesh, which, by the way, this is all about getting rid of the flesh. That's why Elon's talking about circumcision and condoms. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too, because that's always a normal thing to talk about, right? But when you're dealing with spiritual matters, the works of the flesh, condoms prevent life. Circumcision rips the flesh out of it. Forgive me, but that's what it does. That's the symbolism of it, and it's just nuts. But I put this out, this 330-foot spewing volcano. I put this out exactly 3 months and 3 days after, before this happened. I put this thing about the volcanoes. I had a vibe. And then here we are, there's that 33. I find it interesting. Sean, you probably find it interesting too. Thank you for the super chat. If it's not for the super chat, it's not for all you supporting the channel, hitting like, the super thanks, the Patreon, the merch, which you can get in the description of the video, all that stuff, I wouldn't be here. That's the truth. It's the truth. So I'm grateful for it. But this is a big deal because when the sun goes dark in the scriptures, what first happens? Well, the eagles gather. The vultures. Wait till you see this decode. It's really nuts. And we just had the eagles gather, and they won. What was it? 22-40. If you times 22 and 40, you get 880. Wait till you see the show. It's so exciting. But we're being told something here. The Reese's ad saying, everybody's going to taste it. And if you remember the commercial, it had every walk of life. Wasn't just some fiery rock. Now, I start talking about this with Nicholas on X as I'm trying to get my work together. And one of the things that, he says, this is the interpretation is something that's like hidden deep in the earth, finally exploding to the surface. And I'm like, I'm already thinking that way because I'm thinking about what dreams mean. Like, what's a volcano mean in a dream? What does it mean in a dream? Well, it means transformation. And we're actually right now heading down the road of transformation. This is, everything is leading to transformation. Being born again is transformation. Everybody's waiting for the rapture. The rapture is transformation. That first man, the truth of God comes down with a trumpet. By the way, Sherry asked me to blow the trumpet because I haven't done this on the show. So I'm going to do it for you, Sherry. See, I keep my word. People, you make requests. Everybody makes requests. All right, let me see. See, I get like horn fright. I get horn fright. All right, hang on a second. All right, you get the idea, right? All right, so that's the shofar, which that's blown, and it signals war, but it also signals the coming of the Lord. So I think it's a very appropriate request, Sari. Thank you very much. Denise, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, this is what happens. Transformation. Powerful transformations. Inner turmoil. Creative energy. I had a dream. And it was like I was in the army and the helicopter drops me off in this Arctic place. I don't know what it is. And there's just like this like ice tunnel, snow tunnel that you could tell was dug into because of all the snow. And I'm going in. Next thing you know, there's like an avalanche. And then I'm seeing all these enemies and I'm trying to shoot them away. And I wake up. And I put the post out because, you know me, when I have a weird dream, I put it on X. And I think a lot of you should do the same thing. People are saying, good horn, Jacob. You give good horn. All right. I could do better. I actually do it very, very well before the show starts because I'm standing up and everything else. But I get nervous, you know. What else is new? Inner turmoil. So I figured out that, I'd like to do dreams. I love dreams. Interpretation, God speaks to us in a dream. Like a third of the scriptures has to deal with dreams and prophecy and visions. You can think of all the greats, right? Joseph, both Josephs, the father of Jesus, and Joseph, the one who went on to save all of Egypt. Dreams. So I have this dream and I think to myself, maybe it's just because I feel like the world is closing in on me at the moment. You know what I mean? And I got a bunch of people coming against me. Maybe it's because right now things are a little bit more stressful, right? Maybe it's because things are a little bit more difficult. Maybe things are a little bit harder for all of us right now. Have you noticed this? Tell me in the live chat. Maybe that's what's going on. But maybe it's because that this is what happens when a baby is being pushed through the birth canal, right? It narrows. This is what God calls the circumcision of the heart. How do we get there? Well, you don't want to kick against the spurs. You don't want to kick against the pricks. We got a lot of pricks, right? You got a lot of pricks. I got a lot of pricks that I kick against on X too. It's not a fun place to be when God is trying to move you in one direction and you're fighting it. It's time that we move on. You're going to find that even the kicks, the spurs and everything else, totally related to the stress of what's coming in, the asteroid, the one that I just did a show about. You can go to my video section and see the 2004 YR. It doesn't have a 50-50 chance of hitting us, but it's 2032. It's not looking so great. But it doesn't look great when that baby's being pushed through that birthing canal, right? And that's the end days. That's why the title of this video is Disaster Comes. Disaster is coming. As a woman in childbirth, pregnancy. So here's the thing. In Matthew 24, you see that there is this passage that we're very familiar with. It says, "For as lightning comes out of the east and shines even to the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." It's interesting the Son of Man is Christ. What's interesting is we're supposed to be birthed within us. So it would be literally the Son of Man, the Son of God in the temple of God. And when that day comes, by the way, we're instructed not to go here or there because he says, you won't see it. the scriptures say it's going to be like, imagine like lightning from heaven. It's going to come in an instant. You're just going to hit a revelation. It's going to hit you. And in that day, wherever the carcass is, wherever the dead body is, those are those that are dead in Adam. You're going to find that Adam, Ruddy, the number 120 in Strong's, is connected also to the Super Bowl and also to this show. It's nuts. 120 hours. Doge team works a week. I wonder if that's coincidental at all. Or if, maybe it's not like super plotted and planned out. Maybe God really is this precise, that he wants you to be able to read the signs like Jesus said. Wherever the carcass is, there the eagles will be gathered together. And we just had the eagles gathered together, did we not? Now, immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Now, this is an inside work, okay? Because the kingdom of heaven is within you, so the heavens are God's ways. He says that the heavens are God's ways, the earth man's ways. In Scripture, you can look it up. As the heavens are above the earth, so are God's thoughts above man's. There's going to be a shakeup in the heavens. There's going to be a shakeup. This is a beautiful thing. But as you know, just like I'm going to say to you that a world leader is not the literal Antichrist, you will have something that you can look at and see the story. Doesn't mean that that's who the person is. But the story's coming right now with these volcanoes. Because what could blot out the sun and the moon? This. You know, Lissa. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. You know that. This is why this is so stressful. And then after the darkness comes, what happens? Well, you got an asteroid. You got the stars falling from heaven. And now we got this one asteroid that has the chances literally doubled this week. Doubled. I mean, that's not... I mean, I don't think that that's so hot, It seems like every day there's like a new update on, like, they're like, oh, there's a little more of an opportunity. But right now, it's not a normal thing to have this opportunity. 2032. It's not a long way off. It's not a long way off, is it? As Kooky Monster says, I like that name, Kooky. Kooky. Sometimes I feel a little kooky. The shakeup is real. Shakeup's real spiritually, and it's going to be real literally as well. I don't know if there's going to be some terrible asteroid that's going to come down and crash into the earth and get everybody stressed out. I mean, it's not like I didn't have a dream about it, and then the channel ended up going viral because of talking about it. So there is part of me that's a little concerned, but what do I got to worry about? Volume's too low. I got to turn this up a little bit. I got to get this audio down for all of you. I hope that you can hear me okay. That's really stinks if you're not hearing me good. Is that any better? Hopefully it's better. Just raise up the volume, The shakeup is real. Raise up the volume. That's what everybody's saying to me. Oh, God. Is that any better? How's that sound? Does that sound any better? Let me know. Next thing you know, I'm going to be blowing out your ears. Sometimes you just got to raise volume on your end too. But yeah, I have a new mic that I just I pulled out, and I'm going to end up using it soon. But listen, so weird, right? So you got 3 months, 3 days afterwards, you got this crazy volcano. You got the 50% chance of what's going on in Alaska. If there's like a swarm of volcanoes, not so great. Am I stressed about it? No. You know why I'm not stressed about it? Well, because I'm getting done kicking against the pricks. I'm getting done worrying about things. Now, here's weird. Take a look at this Alaska volcano, the 50-50 one. Scientists have warned that a massive volcano in Alaska has a 50-50 chance of erupting in the near future. The 11,000 foot tall. So, of course, I got to think to myself, 11, that's like our number, 1111. I said, oh, there's something to this. And then I realized, it sits exactly 77 miles from Anchorage. the state's largest city, so that wouldn't be good. Now, over the last 10 months, so there you got, just in this article alone, you got the 111, you got 77, so I'm interested. Now, here's the weird thing. Do you know where this place is going down? It's called the Spurr. Isn't that funny? Mount Spurr. Mount Spurr? My goodness gracious. That's what we were just talking about. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see Acts 9, 5 through 6. It says, and he says, who are you, Lord? And the Lord said, I'm Jesus who you persecute. Now, why would he say such a thing? Paul thought that he was doing the Lord's work. But the whole time he was denying that Christ within him. So what had to happen? He had to be humbled. He had to be humbled. Went smack dab in the dirt, right? A bright light in a twinkling of an eye in an instant. And he realized that he'd been killing people in the name of God. Probably not a good God to believe in. Probably not the God of Christ. So this is the day where how corrupt this system is going to be revealed. That's why we're seeing it in the literal government right now. How corrupt. And it's about the beans are about to spill, right? The beans are about to spill about everywhere. So you have this Mount Spurr, and Paul says, it's hard for you to kick against the pricks, Paul. He says, it's like, I see you're fighting me. I see it. It's hard for you, though, to kick against the pricks, the spurs. And he, trembling and astonished, said, Lord, what do you want me to do? That's all we need to ask, by the way. Mary, thank you very much. I got a little distracted. I looked at the super chat, and Mary says, you're amazing, Jacob. Stop it. You're making me feel, I don't feel amazing. That's the truth. Now, keep me on track. Keep me on track. Is the audio any better? Because that would be a good thing to know. I'll keep it at this level. I'm going to get the new mic. Hey, do you really like the set? That's another thing too. Will you please do me? I'll move out of the way. Look, you just got to step on it. You just got to step on it. You just got to step on it. And you don't even got to do the work anymore. Travis, when I told him why this is here, Travis was like, him and Jennifer, they like crying. They knew it because we're tired. I can't climb no ladder. Just come up to the ladder. That's what God says. Come up because the ladder is Christ. Just come to the well. Take Christ with you. How long are you going to kick against the pricks? Huh? Aren't you done with the pricks? I'm done with the pricks. Lord, help me. Lord, take me. Lord, what will you have me to do? Mount Spurr. You have to have a volcano start to possibly erupt to get this meatball over here to tell you how long are you going to kick against the pricks? You may not know nothing. That was Paul's problem. He thought he knew it all. He was a Pharisee of Pharisees. He was so smart. He knew the scriptures upside down and sideways. But he didn't have the revelation of the truth. Jesus brought that. He brought the revelation. And you know who's bringing revelation? Talk about 33s. A guy that I said to you long before when he was a Democrat. Long before I said him and the Trumpster coming together. And then they ended up putting my thumbnail 888 days later on a magazine, Magadonald's. Artemis and Apollo, the two of them, they're working things out. Now, here's funny, okay? This is the new thing. This is the new thing. This is something I've been talking about on the show, Unity, a one-party system. I've told you all this. I said it's coming, right? Thank you, Tess. Tess says that the sect looks good. I was talking, by the way, to somebody from Truly Free. Exciting news about that. And we were doing the Zoom, and she says to me, she goes, your set's a little busy. Set's a little bit busy. It's a little too much going on. And I was like, well, but they're all tchotchkes from around the house. They all have meaning and everything else. So this super highway to the heavens, spiritually speaking, it's a symbol, has been waiting to go up. I guess now I'm too tired to take the stairs. I gotta just. So I was happy because I really like it. I do like it. I think it's a little more peaceful vibe. But I've been saying unity's coming, right? I said the unity party's coming. I said it was going to be the Justice League, and the Justice League is here. Tulsi Gabbard, Wonder Woman. Now we got what, RFK's on the way, Patel's on the way. Justice League. I said it was the Justice League before they said it was the Justice League. Why? I don't know. Just because it just makes sense, because when I was a kid, the Justice League was huge. So of course, this is like a nostalgia thing. We're going back to the future. Back to the future, right? We're bringing plastic straws back. Remember when we used to have those? We're going back to the future. It's all about the time travel. So anyway, Elon today, after I had already, put down a unity test being complete, where I said, test complete, unity is the word I've been using for years about the day we're going to enter into, and it seems unity is near. And then I wrote, new one-party system en route. And then here he is calling for a one-party system. And then here we got that 33 again. We got that 33. 3 months, 3 days in between. I don't know if it means anything. But think about this for a second, okay? Think about this for a second. In Christ, there is no division. Can't have any division. There's no arguments, right? Can't have two sides. There's no, right? There's no two sides to Christ. There is the truth. And then there is a lie, and the lie will be purged. The lie, ironically, in Scripture is compared to the flesh. In fact, in the Bible, there is a passage that says all that is in the flesh, okay? All that's in the world is the flesh. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. What is the flesh? The flesh is, that carnal, Adamic nature. The hunter nature, kill or be killed. The reptilian brain nature, lowest form of thinking. That's the flesh. The flesh needs to go. It needs to be circumcised. That's why back in the day, they used to do this. On what day? The 8th day. The 8th day, we got Samuel L. Jackson with 8-8 on his jacket. Everything's 8-8. Everything's 8. This is 8-8. I didn't even consider this when I put this up, but that's 8-8. You start to think to yourself, look, there's something going on, There's something going on, and I think it's time for you to stop kicking against the pricks. And if you are a prick, you better not be one, okay? Should be nice. Time to be nice, people. Time to be nice. This is where the show gets crazy. This is where it gets weird. Jay Watt wants to know if I have tattoos. I do. I do, actually. I have angel wings. You can see right there. And I got one on the other side. Now, I don't have angel wings. I have 2 mourning doves. When the Dan and I met years ago, I had lost everything, and I was just a single dad with 2 children full-time. I was a full-time father of 2. And I was in Long Island. Lord got me here somehow. And, the Dan and I met. Our 1-month anniversary of dating, we got married in 6 months. When I met her the first time, I said, I'm going to marry you in 6 months. Now, we're going on 18 years. 8. We're going on 18 years. Blended family. We spent like every day together from our first date. I told her at that place we were supposed to go see a movie. I said, I'm going to marry you in 6 months. She's like, okay. You'd think those would be a red flag, right? She's like, no. So we end up getting married. And then here we are. Here we are years later. I love her so much. Our 1-month anniversary, we're going into Outback Steakhouse, right? I'm taking her on a fancy date to Outback Steakhouse. I'm showing her what a man I am. It was down the street from my house. And she says, we're like two birds, each with a broken wing. But God brought us together and now we can fly. And I was like, that is so cheesy, but cool. Not cheesy. I thought it was wonderful. So I put it in the back of my head. I said, that would make a great tattoo. So it's literally 2 mourning doves, because I love the mourning dove. If you read my novel, The Calling, by the way, if you want to read, this is like the best novel ever. Literally, this will be the best book you have read. I'm not even joking. I'm not joking. One person that's read this book that doesn't like it, leave a comment. I'll pin it. I won't pin it because I probably won't find it. That's what I'm saying. Great novel. Mourning doves all over that book. Mourning doves. I can even make the sound. So I have tattoos. Now, I know that that's not supposed to be a good thing, right? It's not halal if you're a Muslim. It's not a great thing if you're Jewish. It's not kosher, right? They won't even bury you in some Orthodox Christian cemeteries. if you have tattoos, because you're not supposed to do that, supposedly. But this is nothing. God doesn't look to the outward man. He looks to the heart. It's probably, not so healthy if it's not a great place and everything else. But I did it, and I've had it since, and I love it. It's a great tattoo. It looks cool, too, because it's a cool tattoo. I mean, look, I'm sorry. I really went off target here. Let's get back to 33. McDonald's, okay? 888 days in between one-party state, and then here we are, 3 months, 3 days later, one-party state. And that was already me saying they're going to be calling for unity, and then they did, like a year later. That's going to be the big thing. And why? Well, because we can't leave Tulsi out, by the way, because now she's the head intelligence officer. She's the top. She's the boss. Okay? Now take a look at that. Look at those numbers. From my video, where I first put her together in 2022 when she was leaving the Democratic Party, it's 122 weeks in 1 day. So you got the 1-1, you got the 2-2. Now, take a look at my post from 2020, where I said, you go, Tulsi Gabbard. It's almost time for you to take center stage. The cast needs a strong leading lady. And that was in regards to a Trump post. And that was 220 weeks later. A lot of 22s, a lot of 33s. Danielle always tells me to leave them out. But I'll tell you one thing, 50 is a good number too. It means Jubilee. Jubilee. But in this case, 50 is in regards to condoms. Because, of course, Elon is not too thrilled about it. He was actually asked. He went into the Oval Office with his cute son. It's funny. I think to myself, because it's so adorable. It's so adorable, and he really loves the spotlight. I can just tell. And by the way, Invisidon, on X put out this thing. It says he looks like Master Blaster. If you ever watched Beyond Thunderdome, Mad Max series, let me blow up a picture of that, because it really is kind of funny. It is kind of funny because we are kind of like Beyond Thunderdome right now. It's just, this is the day we're in. But yes, so he was taking questions with his little man with him, who is so adorable. And, and Trump really, they were trying, the media was trying to make it out like, he was getting annoyed with him, but I didn't see that at all. But I do know that there was a mistake with how many condoms, $50 million worth of condoms. He said that it went to wherever, and people thought that it went to Hamas or whatever. But it turned out it went to like Mozambique and somewhere else or whatever. Who cares in the grand scheme of things? That's basically what we're saying. So why are we spending $50 million in condoms? I think there was a little bit more to it than just being condoms. But a condom, what it does is it prevents someone from getting pregnant. Do you see this as a good thing? That they're like, we're not going to pay for the condoms anymore. Now, not just because spiritually I love it, which, by the way, if you're in a committed relationship and you want to, sometimes you can have a baby, right? And that's a beautiful thing. You use a condom, you can't do that. And I think the future is going to be like a little bit more like, probably you would think of like, I don't know, I'm not going to say Handmaid's Tales, but you would, being pregnant is going to become a beautiful thing in the country, and it's going to be coveted because there's such a low incidence of it right now. It seems like the birth rate is dropping. So they're not going to allow people to go and have, operations to, let's face it, to kill the child, because once life is there, it's there, life, you destroy life. They're not going to allow it to happen. It's not going to be going forward because you can't have a population that dies off. So anybody that's pregnant is going to be very, very revered. There'll probably be incentives for this, which is good. Maybe they'll end up helping people. Maybe they'll end up getting back to a place where we can be a family again and we can, live a good, righteous life without the stress of everybody working and dropping the kid off at this club and that. I grew up poor. And it wasn't that great. My children are lucky to have me. I've always been, thank God, allowed to stay home and take care of them. When they were growing up, I was writing for Daystar at home. Now I'm doing this. So I've always been just very blessed to do that, but not everybody is. Maybe in the future they will be. But here's the thing. He's talking about condoms, but he's not just talking about condoms, because then, he did this whole thing where he changed everything to hairy balls. Hairy balls. He changed his, what do they call it? The avatar or his screen name on X to hairy balls. And then he wrote circumcisions at a discount, because he said one of the things that USAID was doing was they were offering free circumcisions throughout the world, but charging U.S. taxpayers to do it. We have these very, very super symbolic things being talked about. I mean, it's a little uncomfortable, right? You don't want to talk about circumcision. You don't want to talk about condoms. Who wants to talk about this on the show? By the way, you should be in a committed relationship, and you should, be ready to marry somebody. I was just having this talk with my oldest son, Noah, who is, he's a great girlfriend. But I mean, it's like, it's time to do things right. You do things wrong and it hurts. You end up getting a bunch of pricks. Who wants the pricks? Time to be done with Mount Spurr. You don't want that eruption to be taking place. Do you see a tie in there to what a volcano is, and circumcision and a condom? I don't want to have to point this out, but everything's happening right now in the news is about spiritual life exploding, the truth being revealed, lies that once we believe to be true, exposed, and it's going to blow our minds. It's going to freak us out, and it's going to blow our minds. I mean, they're even talking like, this girl right here, right? She's casted very well. The new task force promises to reveal everything that you can imagine when it comes to the old secrets of JFK and who indeed went to that island. They talked about how Disney was transporting people there. I saw some, I don't know if that's true or not, that kids would go snorkeling off of this island. I don't know if it's true, but it's going to come out. It's going to come out. See, here's the thing, and I'm starting to learn this on the way, because when I think things are sus, like when I see very obvious propaganda, because it's going to come one way and it's going to come the other way. For a long time, I was like, oh, they're all in a club, and they are, Elon was back there making his, what's that sign? I don't want to do it because people will take it out of, which, once again, has to do with birth. He's doing that super sign. Even the Masons just put out a video of like, we know that you all think that we're scary people, but we're just normal. Dressed the way they are. All of this, they're probably in on it. They're probably all, as I said, Knights Templar. This is a war, and they've won the war. You're going to find out with my Super Bowl decode. The experiment of how America used to be, it's over. It's going to blow your mind. It's over. You think two parties are going to stick? No. There's going to be a one rule. There's going to be a one government. That's all there is to it. They're even asking for more secret police. All the greats had their own police force, right? Sometimes it takes a heavier hand to do God's work. What does this mean? As long as you're doing right, and as long as you're a productive member of society, this is our golden age. If you're not, it's going to be your gilded age. Thank you, Megan, for the super chat. God bless you as well. But all the secrets are coming out. She did this press conference, and she's like, you have no idea. It's bigger than aliens. Bigger than aliens? Oh, God. What are they going to tell us next? That we're in a simulation? We already talked about that. Maybe that's the reason why, what's his name had the whole set was a controller, a PlayStation controller. Maybe it's a little bigger than a beef with just Drake. You think? Time warp time, baby. Time warp. That's what Elon said too. He says, the limestone mine that's used for storing retirement paperwork is like entering a time warp. A time warp. Started in 1955. It resembles the 50s. Big story was I don't know if I'm right now. I think it was like a 150-year-old or a 120-year-old. It probably was a 120-year-old, because that works with the story a little bit better, that was still receiving Social Security. And then I get a little worried about this because I've been paying into Social Security since I was able to. I've worked since I was, good grief. I started at 11, cutting grass. I was pumping gas at my mom's friend's brother's gas station down the street at 13. I was doing that. Then I went to the deli at 14, 15, 16. I've always paid in, as long as I could. So I better get what I'm due, right? I'm doing it to help others. So when they're looking into all this stuff, you get worried because it's like, man, how much more do we need to be stolen from, right? But maybe they're not going to steal from us. Maybe we're going to see things get better. Right now, I don't know. I keep going shopping and it's still stressful, but maybe in the future, it will be a little better. We're going back to the future. Back to the future. This is a vibe. You see that picture right there? How amazing that picture right there with from JFK with his son with Junior, and then there. I mean, come on, nostalgia. It like literally tugs at your heartstrings. And of course, you do know by now. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you subscribe. But Back to the Future was based on Mr. Donald Trump. Yes. Yep. And he probably is a time traveler. He probably is, And does that mean that we got to stress out about things? I don't know. If anything, if it's true, it should give you a little hope. But can I tell you something? If, say, they are time travelers, I got news for them. Behold, I'm doing something new. That's what God says. I'm doing something new. New. Let me blow this up for you. I want to read this to you, okay? Okay. Then if any man shall say, look, here is Christ, or there is Christ, believe it not. Don't believe it. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and show great signs and wonders, insomuch if it were possible they would deceive the very elect. Behold, I've told you before. Wherefore, if they say to you, behold, he's in the desert, go not forth. He's in the secret chambers. Got to join the club. Got to learn the handshake. Don't go. For as lightning comes out of the east and shines even to the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in lightning, Christ didn't use the hope of glory. In a trump, twinkling of an eye, the truth of God shouts. So wake up. Jump on. The ride is free. Thank you for the super chat, Carrie. Carrie says, I rock. I love that. Thank you. Now, wherever the eagle is, it's hovering because there's a bunch of dead bodies. But immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened. Now, can I tell you spiritually what that means? It means the sun that you think you know, darkened. You thought you knew something, just like Paul thought he knew something, and then he was blind. And then he had to be led to the street called Straight. He had to be set straight by the prophet Agabus, who after 3 days, his sight returns as scales falling from his eyes. And people are like, what is this story? The scales in Scripture we find of the Leviathan are a man's pride. Our pride that we think we know it all. Our pride that like, I can do it. When everything's pushing you against the wall and saying you need to stop doing things this way, your pride keeps you. It's hard to kick against the pricks. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be dark and the moon shall not give her light and the stars shall fall from heaven and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. The things that you think you know, they're going to be questioned. They're going to be shaken. The truth is going to hit you like a ton of bricks, just like Doge is hitting, and all the truth is being revealed. It's coming. All of it. It's coming. It's being revealed. Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man. Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man. Then, do you understand? Shall appear the sign of the... This is all the sign. Everything that I'm talking about is a sign. And they that see the Son coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Do you know in Scripture, do you know what the clouds are? Do you know what they are? The witnesses of God. It's all of you. Then you'll see Christ coming. Then you'll see Christ. That word erchomai in Greek means to be revealed. Then you'll see Christ revealed in the clouds. We are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses today. We got over 1,000 watching right now. Smash the like. You cloud of witnesses, you. And I see. Because you know what? The sun that I put my faith in out there, that's nothing. The moon that I see at night, that's nothing. But the sign of the Son of Man is in the earth today. And no condom's going to keep you from it. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that it's time for us all to, I don't know, be a little more excited about the world that we're living in. Be a little more excited about the day that we're in. And understand that, you know, until that last penny is paid, you ain't getting in. Good news is that last penny looks like it's being paid. All right, do me a favor, right? Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Hit the like. Will you share it around? Will you tell your friends? Tell me what you think of the new set. I'm going to try a new mic on the next show. I miss going live. And when I saw this volcano erupt, and I was like, oh, that's probably a 3-3 or a 2-2 from when I said it was coming. And then here it is. All it is, it's like a wonderful, beautiful thing. All those 33s. Just insane. So don't get stressed out when you see a Mountain Dew commercial and you're thinking like, pew! Maybe all that's there because it's a sign. Old days over, my friends. No more two-party system. It's going to be one party. There's one God, one Lord, one baptism, one truth, one Spirit that is in all and through all. So, ask for it and get yourself some merch while you're at it. God's champion, you God's champion. Go to the description of the video. You even got this really cool hoodie, huh? This is it looks good. Noah has the navy blue one. It looks so fire, as they say. Thank you for all you do. There is a competition going on for Truly Free Home. I get entered in for everybody that takes them up on their 300 free washes. That's for clothing. It's like a whole year, okay? Whole year of go. I think like if you just try one of their products or whatever, you go in there. The link is in the description of the video. Get some free stuff sent to you, you know? And try their products out. Save money. Get something for free. It's going away in February. You got to use code Jacob. TrulyFreeHome.com. Code Jacob gets you in. And then you can be washing your clothes and they're going to be clean, clean, clean. All right, I love each and every one of you. So glad you came by. A lot of you are saying that this is a great show. Thank you, 420. Says it's outstanding. I appreciate it. I really do want to do a great job for you all. I prefer doing the produced shows, but for whatever reason, the live shows are more fun for me. All right. I love you all. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Don't forget, stay away from them condoms. Well, I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Don't pay attention to me. Just love people, okay? Bye-bye.